The morning sun rose over the city streets, casting a soft glow across the school gates where dozens of children entered with bright eyes and heavy backpacks, their laughter filling the air with innocence and joy. Teachers stood by the entrance greeting them warmly, unaware that danger was looming nearby, a danger that would test courage, sacrifice, and humanity itself. Just beyond the school block, a man parked his van, his eyes dark and restless, carrying weapons meant to cause fear and chaos. He had planned to unleash terror upon the school, but destiny had already placed someone in his path, a young female police officer patrolling the area as part of her morning duty. She wasn't just an officer in uniform, she was a protector whose heart beat with the sense of responsibility toward her people, especially the children who reminded her of her own little brother she had lost years ago. The day began like any other. She was walking along the sidewalk when she heard a faint, metallic clatter from the corner where the suspicious van was parked. Instinct made her pause. Her training told her something wasn't right. The officer moved closer, her eyes narrowing at the sight of the man fidgeting nervously near the back door of the vehicle. She called out to him, but before she could get an answer, he pulled out a rifle. In that instant, time seemed to slow. Her heart pounded, but there was no room for fear. The first instinct was clear: save the children. She grabbed her radio, alerting headquarters of an active threat at the school, but she knew backup might arrive too late. She alone was standing between a ruthless gunman and dozens of innocent lives. The man began moving toward the gate, and panic erupted among a few parents nearby who noticed the weapon. The officer raised her voice firmly, ordering everyone to get down, pushing the closest group of children behind a brick wall for cover. Her voice carried authority and calm, giving them courage as she whispered to them not to cry, promising that nothing would happen to them. The gunman fired into the air to create fear, the loud bang sending screams across the schoolyard, and children ran in all directions. The officer had to act fast, using her own body as a shield as she herded the children into the school building one group at a time, instructing teachers to lock the classrooms. Every second was a battle between chaos and control, but she stayed strong, her mind focused on strategy and survival. The gunman approached aggressively, shouting incoherent threats. She ducked behind a car, returning warning shots to draw his attention away from the fleeing children. The bullets tore through metal and glass, and the echoes filled the street, but she refused to let him advance further. Sweat trickled down her forehead as she thought of her own promise to herself. Never again would she let a child suffer the fate her brother did in an old neighborhood incident years ago. That memory fueled her courage, keeping her steady even as fear clawed at her chest. She shouted commands to distract him, buying precious moments until she could find an opening to end the threat. As the standoff continued, the officer noticed the man reloading. It was her chance. She sprinted from her cover, rolling onto the ground and firing at his legs to incapacitate him. The gunman fell to the pavement, dropping his weapon as she swiftly disarmed him, pressing her knee against his back while calling in reinforcements. Her arms trembled, not from weakness but from the adrenaline of knowing how close the children had been to tragedy. Within minutes, more officers arrived, handcuffing the man and securing the area. Parents rushed to embrace their children, tears of relief streaming down their faces, and teachers whispered prayers of gratitude. When the chaos settled, the officer stood quietly near the school gate, her uniform torn and her body exhausted, but her eyes soft with relief as she watched the children's laughter return, though now mixed with nervous giggles after their fright. A little girl, no more than 7 years old, walked up to her holding a small pink ribbon from her hair and placed it in the officer's hand, saying, "Thank you for saving us." That simple gesture broke through the officer's hardened exterior, and tears welled in her eyes. She knelt down, hugging the girl, realizing that in protecting these children, she had not only fulfilled her duty as an officer but also healed the wounds she had carried for years. News of her bravery spread across the city, her name praised in headlines and her image celebrated on social media. But for her, the real reward wasn't fame or recognition. It was the sight of those children walking safely home to their families, their lives untouched by the violence that could have claimed them. In the silence of the evening, when she finally removed her uniform and sat by her window, she whispered a prayer of thanks for the strength she had been given. She knew she would carry the memory of this day forever, the day she stood alone against danger and protected the most innocent souls of society. This wasn't just a story of police duty, it was the story of human courage, of how one young woman risked her life not for medals or praise, but for the purest reason of all: love and protection of children, the future of the world. And so, her name became a symbol of bravery, reminding everyone that true heroes are often those who step forward in moments when no one else dares, facing fear not with power, but with the unshakable heart of sacrifice.